Welcome to the Retiring Canada podcast, where our mission is to educate and empower you to make the most informed, rational, and productive financial decisions. Hosted by certified financial planner, author, and chartered investment manager Michael Isbister. You'll go behind the scenes to uncover the tips and strategies to help you invest smarter, optimize your retirement income, and reduce the amount of tax you pay. Michael is an investment advisor with Fundamental Wealth, a trade name of Harbourfront Wealth Management, a CERO dealer. And now, here's your host, Michael Isbister.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Retiring Canada podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss how to optimize your TFSA account for the long term. Specifically, I'm going to chat about the first step to optimizing your TFSA, the blanketed approach to investment decisions we often see, a balanced investor's TFSA balance from 2009 to today, the impact of changing your plan over the next 30 years, 4 decisions that could ruin your TFSA, and lastly, as always, a few action items for you to consider. In my role as a certified financial planner and senior investment advisor, I've had the privilege of reviewing and optimizing hundreds of families' retirement plans. From investments, retirement income, tax, healthcare, and estate planning, we have streamlined our process for new clients and existing clients to provide massive value that outweighs the fees that we are paid. We call our process the Fundamental Retirement Plan, and I encourage you to learn more by visiting our website. Stay tuned in the future as we plan on releasing a 5-part series that highlights the FRP process and breaks down each area we focus on. One thing that we find is that all of these planning areas are interconnected, and the decisions we make from an investment level will impact our retirement income plan, tax plan, and so on. Every decision we make will impact the entire Fundamental Retirement Plan. So it's crucial for us to understand, control, and monitor each aspect of a client's financial life to keep things on track. One common theme that we come across while going through this process is the misuse of the tax-free savings account, TFSA. In some instances, we come across accounts that are very conservative, perhaps in cash or high-interest savings. But more often than not, we come across TFSA accounts that are balanced, say 60% equity, 40% fixed income, i.e., a traditional portfolio. Now, at face value, this seems pretty reasonable. However, I would argue this is suboptimal, especially for retirement investors with investable assets over $1 million. Hear me out. Let's discuss a hypothetical situation. Say, while going through the Fundamental Retirement Plan, we create a withdrawal strategy that has us drawing down on your RRSP, RIF, and pension account. We optimize the Canadian pension plan and old age security, and we create a retirement income safety net within the non-registered account that aligns with your long-term goals and design a globally diversified basket of investments. Now, with the plan in place, we discover that based on the withdrawal strategy, income, and tax plan, the TFSA account will very likely never be accessed for retirement income needs. Knowing this, how should this TFSA be invested? Now, I understand risk tolerance, risk capacity, time horizon, and financial education are crucial in determining what is a suitable investment on a per-client basis. That said, if you understand how you were invested, you use conservative estimates when creating a retirement plan, and it makes sense in plain English, I would argue a retirement investor should consider more equity in the TFSA. Why do you ask? Well, again, if through a conservative planning process, we discover the TFSA will never be required for retirement income needs, does it make more sense to be a balanced 60-40 investor or a 100% equity investor? I come across countless prospective client portfolios where I see this blanket 60/40 or even 80/20 portfolio allocation across all accounts, regardless of the expected timeline of these underlying accounts. Now, I'm not suggesting that you run out there and rebalance your TFSA. I don't know you, your family, or your finances, so do your own due diligence or get in touch with our team by visiting our website. But why make a fuss out of this anyway? Well, because the impact of how your TFSA is invested has an incredibly significant impact on the future account value. Makes sense, right? Let's work through a few examples, and to start, let's take a trip back in time. Let's say that when the TFSA was started in 2009, you added the maximum amount annually on January 1st of each year. From a return standpoint, let's use the return history of the Dimensional Fund's 60/40 portfolio and Dimensional Fund's Global Equity portfolio. For the Dimensional 60/40 portfolio, the annualized rate of return net of investment fees since 2011 is 6.79%. For the Dimensional Global Equity portfolio, the annualized return net of investment fees since 2009 is 9.67. Now, you can check out these portfolios yourself by clicking the link in the episode description. Now, let's apply these assumptions to a yearly maximized TFSA since 2009 to the end of the year in 2005. We'll use the annualized return of 6.79% for the balanced 60/40 investor. The end result would be a TFSA account value of approximately $189,000 in December 2025. When we use similar parameters but now switch this investor from balanced to 100% equity, utilizing an annualized return of now 9.67%, this global equity investor would now have approximately $249,000 by the year-end 2025. This is a massive $60,000 difference in account values, thanks to the impact of consistency and compounding. What is your TFSA account value today? Is it close to the traditional balanced investor, $189,000? Likely not. Now, there are a number of reasons yours is likely lower than this. Perhaps it's because of high-fee mutual funds, suboptimal stock picking portfolios, not topping up the account at the beginning of each year, or maybe even just catching up on the account contributions as earlier years your cash flow was needed in other areas. Now, I get it. Hindsight is 2020. And financial planning best case scenarios and financial outcomes rarely align perfectly. Now, you might hear me tell you TFSA values like $189,000 or $249,000 and think I'm out to lunch. Or maybe you think, well, mine is only $130,000. I really missed out. Well, not all is lost. Think about it. If you are 55 or 60 years old today, you still have another 20, 30, or even 40 more years of TFSA contributions and growth. So there is still time. So making a change now can make a massive difference. Let's assume your TFSA account balance is close to $130,000 today. Let's then assume you contribute the current yearly maximum of $7,000 in January 1st of every year for the next 30 years. For simplicity purposes, we will assume the annual contribution limit never increases. In scenario 1, you have $130,000 in your TFSA today, and you stay a balanced investor, 60/40, even though it's determined the TFSA will never be accessed for retirement income purposes. We apply the same annualized rate of return of 6.79% and take that out over the next 30 years. The expected balance at the end of these 30 years is approximately 1.6 million tax-free dollars. Now let's take that same $130,000, apply our enlightened self who realizes this account will never be accessed, thus giving you the bandwidth to accept more ups and downs in your portfolio over the next 30 years. We apply the 9.67 annualized return, and the end result? A little over 3.25 million tax-free dollars. This is twice the account value when compared to the balanced investor. Amazing. And this doesn't even factor the periodic increases to the annual TFSA contribution limit. Or what about if you have a spouse and both of you have TFSAs? You can multiply my assumption by 2. This is why Warren Buffett famously described compound returns as the 8th wonder of the world, emphasizing its significance in wealth accumulation. Now, going back to the returns I used, because you may balk at that return rate, and I get it. Keep in mind, these are historical returns you can view for yourself online. And yes, historical returns do not guarantee future results. With that, there are a number of other suboptimal decisions investors make that hinder their long-term growth of their TFSA accounts, or any account at that matter. First is using high-fee mutual funds. These fees you pay directly impact your net return over the long run. So please be aware of what you pay to own your investment. Second is suboptimal investment decisions. Whether it be a stock picking portfolio or active fund manager promising high returns. The data and evidence show that this style of investing very, very rarely works out in the investor's best interest over the long run. Third is poor decisions by an investor. Selling to cash when markets fluctuate, using the TFSA as a savings account, buying penny stocks and speculative investments, or simply not understanding what decisions they should be making within the TFSA. All of these can overall impact their retirement plan. And lastly is paying an advisor who does not provide value outside of just picking investments. I live in this world, the advice business, and it is my privilege and duty to be the custodian of your financial life. And in order for you to achieve your goals, we spend a great deal of time and focus ensuring the value of advice we provide is multiples more than the advisory fee you pay. Think about it. If the fundamental retirement plan gives you the confidence to fully invest your TFSA, which then results in an increased TFSA value of $1 million in the future compared to what your current trajectory is taking you, how much would you pay for that advice? This is why we created the fundamental retirement plan process. So if you've been thinking about connecting with us to see what we have to offer, I encourage you to reach out today. Your TFSA will thank you in the future. Now, whether you are a DIY investor or you work with an advisor currently, the decisions you make about how your TFSA is invested should never exist in a vacuum. Please do your own due diligence when choosing an investment, an advisor, or when making any financial decision, frankly. We are all a product of the decisions we make. In my opinion, the TFSA is the most valuable account to a Canadian investor. The Government of Canada has handed you an absolute gift, which is rare. The only catch is they didn't give you, the regular Canadian investor, an instruction manual on how to get the most value out of this account. And this is why it's crucial to understand how the decisions you make can result in an over $1 million difference in your individual TFSA account over the next 30 years. Okay, so that'll do it for today. Here are your action items. First off, if you don't have a well thought out retirement plan that gives you the confidence that you won't run out of money or you won't underlive, you know what to do. Lastly, crack open an investment statement. If you are a balanced investor, which I would say most retirement investors are, does this strategy apply across all of your accounts? TFSA, RRSP, RIF, LIRA, non-registered, etc. If so, that may make sense. However, if you find yourself with modest spending habits and retirement assets north of $1 million, you may be missing out on an opportunity to maximize your wealth. Okay, so that'll do it for today's episode. Be sure to add us on all your socials, LinkedIn and Facebook. Check out the resources that I have in the show notes. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. Be sure you're signed up for the weekly Retiring Canada newsletter. And hey, when it comes to your retirement, don't take chances. Make a plan so you can retire with confidence.
All comments are of a general nature and should not be relied upon as individual advice. The views and opinions expressed in this commentary may not necessarily reflect those of Harbourfront Wealth Management. While every attempt is made to ensure accuracy, facts and figures are not guaranteed. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing or tax advice. Please seek advice from your accountant regarding anything raised in the content of the podcast regarding your individual tax situation. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.